Good morning. Day 8. We've been out here a full week. Sunday, April 14th. It's a balmy 35 degrees right now. Shared a camping site with two awesome people from Washington, Craig and Laurie. Hopefully I'll insert photo here if I get it sent to me. First night of rain on the trail. It's cold. I'm going to keep moving and we'll check in later. Following the creek, that was a cold, wet hike with the rain last night. Feet are still getting soaked, but the views have gotten much better. All right, just warmed up in the sun a little bit, had a little energy boost, and I was able to book 2 nights in Idlewild. Oh baby, Wednesday and Thursday. So now I have a goal in mind. So let's keep moving. All right, quick update. It's about 9:30. We've been pretty much climbing ever since leaving camp. We're up to about 4,300 feet, give or take. As far as the all the wet brush, should be pretty good on that front now. So have wet trail runners, wet socks. Gonna scope out a sunny spot to dry out the feet, take a little break. But maybe after we get over this next patch of climbing. You can see we've regained some elevation. Not a bad little spot for a break. Got about 8 miles to our next water source. So we've been climbing. Gonna rest for a few more minutes and get going. Another great day out here. Still climbing. There's the trail way down there. We're just at 4,700 feet. It feels like we might be topping out soon, just based on the landscape. We'll see, maybe not. I was just thinking, feeling really fortunate that I was able to do a Diartissima in 2022 and another one last year. For those that don't know, in New Hampshire, there are 48 official 4,000 footers, and a Diartissima is to do them all in one stretch. Now there's insane fastest known time records where with cars, I think people have gotten it down to 3 days. Walking, I think it's 7 days or 5, 6, 7 days, something like that. I didn't do that, but I think it was 18 days, my first one. And it was just being outdoors, no town stops. Sarah did bring me a resupply, but just being out there with very aggressive climbing, and then also doing the Appalachian Trail, New Hampshire section hike last fall. And that was another, 20 nights, same deal. So, I mean, physically that helps, but I think this is really a mental game. And it really is nice to already have that honed mentally, what this is gonna be day in and day out. And I love it, but I definitely had some failed Diartissima attempts and other things where mentally I just wasn't there. So I can see how easily, we've been climbing all morning here in pretty reasonable temperatures, with a little bit hotter. I can definitely see people having second thoughts if this is for them or not. And I'm just glad I don't have any of those doubts. So let's keep climbing, I guess. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I will have periods of time where I definitely have what am I doing here moments. But at least I think for the initial just getting started, it's nice to kind of know what to expect. The only Little wrinkle is the water, but I mean, you still deal with that on any long distance hike, and just a bit more scarce in the desert. So yeah, I'm sure I'll have some moments of weakness, plenty of them, but it's nice not to have that starting out, knowing that you made the right decision to try this insane thing. So I just had like the perfect soundtrack on in the earbud. There's a music service called Mixcloud. I don't think it's super popular in the States, but it's based in, I think, Britain or the UK. But for me, I love it. There are like, they call them DJs. They put together mixes, but there's one person I found who does like 1.5 to 2 hour sets of all vinyl from the 70s and the 80s. Right in my wheelhouse. So been jamming to that, like Sunday morning brunch kind of music. Pretty good. Well, looks like we're going up and over that. Whew. All right, we're at 5,000 feet. Been looking at this rock formation all along the climb. So might as well take a little break here. Air out the feet. See if I have cell phone reception. Yeah, it's a good spot for a break. Pretty decent view too. So I just noticed way off in the distance, there's the snow. That's where we're headed. Just thinking about how crazy it all seems. A week ago, last Sunday, Sarah was dropping me off at the southern terminus. Man, that week flew by quick. Now it's the following Sunday, about 115 miles in the trail. Wow. It goes quick sometimes. All right, it's getting close to noon, so about 5 hours of hiking. We're about 4 miles away from Mike's place. Hoping I can just avoid that scene. There might be some water running a 1/4 mile before that. So I'll scoop up there if I can. If not, go to Mike's. Passed a couple early this morning who were probably camped around the same area I was, and haven't seen anyone else since. I was expecting to see some younger folks blow by me by now, but there was that town stop, so maybe some people did Neros or Zeros. So yeah, very solitude experience today. Solitary experience. Pretty cool. Oh, and also just a little tidbit, I've been checking for cell service every break. I've been like braking at the highest points, no cell service. So I was pretty fortunate. That very first break where I stopped had Verizon, like a couple bars, so I could get my lodging situation figured out for Wednesday and Thursday in Idlewild. It's a highly recommended place. I think it's called Silver Pines, and you can book online, and they give a hiker discount, and just it's supposed to be a good place for hikers. But I'm glad I got that squared away, because I'd be starting to be stressing a little bit if I couldn't get a signal, just to get the ball rolling on that, as I'm getting closer and closer to knowing Wednesday and Thursday will be a good time frame for me to be there. And I'm sure the rooms book up fast. I mean, tomorrow, April 15th, is like the prime date people want to start their Thru-Hike, and it kind of works backwards and forwards from there. So definitely going to have big bubble of Thru-Hikers. But even so, I've noticed, just because of the mileage, that we're spread out pretty well, and there are definitely like bigger packs or cliques of some folks. You know, I've seen like groups of 4, 5, 6, but not a lot of them. So I say overall we're pretty well spread out, which is nice. That's about 1 p.m. We've still been climbing. We're at about 5,200 feet. The skies over that way have definitely gotten a lot more gray, and the wind has picked up. but hopefully we'll beat any storm. I'm still walking into blue skies for the most part. Brr, it's cold. Okay, here's a very small stream that's flowing. I'm gonna fill up here instead of having to worry about going to Mike's. All right, successfully loaded up on a bunch of water. Got the pack packed up, gonna put the travel runners back on and keep moving. So I started climbing about 200 feet off the trail away from the water source. And I just had this little paranoid feeling. Did I leave something behind? Did I leave my water filter behind? Well, my pack is real heavy now because I'm carrying just shy of 6 liters of water. So I have plenty of water for hot beverages and freeze-dried meals tonight and tomorrow morning, plus water for the morning until I get to the next water source. I do like my water. So I could have taken my pack off and went back down, or taken my pack off and checked. It was just easier to walk back down and double check. So I'm sure that happens to a lot of thru hikers, but you definitely, if you're not like focused and paying attention, I can just see how easy it is. If I like my routine in the morning, breaking down camp, it's less likely to happen there. But at a water fill like that, where I'm not like super used to doing that, man, I gotta get in the habit of really making sure I'm not leaving anything behind. So it's just interesting what goes on. Definitely has been windier, which is making it a bit chillier. As long as I'm moving, it's fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting some more rain tonight. Hopefully I can beat the rain. If not, well, that's the way it goes. All right, that must be Mike's place down there. Climb, climb, climb. We're at about 6,000 feet. We got a little over 2 miles to get to hopefully our campsite for the night. Let's hope the weather holds off until then. My feet are starting to feel a little bit, but I think we'll be all right for another 2 miles. And hopefully we are going to start going down eventually, you just don't know when. All right, it's around 3:30, the last half mile or so to camp. The trail, since we've been descending, has been pretty grabby, pretty rocky. It hasn't been cruisy, and there's definitely a storm threatening. So this is when you really gotta be careful when you're in a rush at the end of a long day, you're feeling tired. That's when bad things happen to your ankles and other parts. So just telling myself to keep it slow and steady. We'll be at camp soon. All I have to do is get the tent set up, and I can set up everything else inside the tent. So wish me luck. All right, it's 3:30. We made it to a nice little campsite. Just checked the thermometer, 45 degrees. Wow, it's a bit on the chilly side. So I'm gonna get camp set up, gray skies above, but I think we'll be able to get set up before the rain. All right, 6 o'clock. Camp is set up. Looking forward to getting inside. The one thing I noticed, I'll show you from the inside of the tent. Yeah, so the one thing that ended up being a problem on our last Big Agnes tent are the zippers here. They get dirt in them very easily. It's a very sandy campsite, and the dirt gets clogged in the zipper. So I just took a moment to like brush off as much dirt as I possibly could. And then I'll throw some chapstick on there just to help keep it lubed, because that zipper fails pretty easily on these tents for whatever reason. Actually, on the 3-person Big Agnes that Sarah and I use, I actually sent the fly in to get the zipper replaced because it just wasn't working anymore. And that's the likely culprit. And I guess it's a known issue with these zippers. They're so delicate. But yeah, oh, it already feels so much better inside the tent. I'm gonna get situated. We'll check in later. I'm curious how far we went today. I think somewhere around 16, maybe 17 miles, but we'll see. It just feels like a hot chocolate kind of afternoon. All right, quick logistics update on day 8. First, I had 2 bars of LTE here with Verizon, so it was awesome. I was able to touch base with Sarah, check my Gmail, confirm my reservation in Idlewild, all good stuff. Yeah, so far I've drained 2 10,000, whatever they're called, milliamp night cores. So in 8 days, that's not too bad considering all the electronics I carry. So I just started charging with a 20,000, and that'll probably get me into Idlewild. But if not, that's okay. I still have more power. For boils, as of right now, I've done 24 boils. I'm probably going to do at least 2 more boils, and there's definitely enough for that. We'll see. I don't think 1 canister is going to last me all the way to Idlewild, but I'm not being stingy with the boils either, so we'll see how many we get. So that's the update on that. Back to organizing. All right, little dinner update. We're going to start off with some yummy mashed potatoes, and I'll throw in some bacon jerky. I usually bring salt and pepper for these too. I'm going to have to start doing that. It just gives a nice little extra kick. So that'll be the appetizer. And then we're going to go in for a chicken fajita bowl. And this is only 540 calories. So the taters will supplement that nicely. Overall in food, I'll be fine. I would have been getting into Idlewild Wednesday night, and I could definitely stretch it out for 2 or 3 more days. But it's nice not having to worry about that. So dinner time, and then we'll figure out how far we went today. All right, so we ended up going 16.8 miles today. I thought we had gone a little more, but I mean, when you're climbing all day, that's pretty good, especially after the big day we had yesterday, almost 24 miles. So I'm happy with that, and that still sets us up nicely for getting into Idlewild. So I'm basically 48 miles away from the Devil's Slide Trail, which is the trail you take to get down into Idlewild. So that's 16 miles a day. So if I can get a 20 miler in or an 18 miler in, just to make it so that Wednesday I don't have quite as many miles to get into town. Because then once I get there, there's still like, I think Devil's Slide is like 2.5 or 3 miles on that trail just to get into town. That doesn't count as part of the PCT, but that's fine. So yep, figure out where we're going to end up tomorrow, but that's going to be it for today. Another good day. See you tomorrow for day 9.